Hello, everybody. As you know, every once in a while, I'm fortunate enough to meet people who I want to introduce you to because they have solid strategies, or they're just great people, or I find that they're going to add something to your life. So, hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Joyce Weiss, Master Coach. And today, I am beyond excited to be interviewing a woman who is going to give you such great information about culture, performance teams, and who am I talking about but our very own Diane Bogino, who's an industrial organizational psychologist who assisted organizations, executives, and individuals in getting out of their own way to achieve success. I need to hire you by developing a better understanding of one another's communication styles, behaviors, and effective business. In a former life, and this is so cool, folks, Diane was an actress and model. She appeared in a movie and in numerous commercials and did a national spot for Delta Airlines. She also did voiceovers, print, and runway modeling. A fun fact, at one time, she was Daffy Diane. Some say she still is a magic clown. She's also performed magic as herself, winning Magician of the Year for Greater Atlanta. Diane, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joyce. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
And before we start the serious topics, I've got to ask you, you said you're in the movie. What was this movie? Please tell us.
Well, it was called something special, but it wasn't. That was like the third title they had given it to try to sell it. So don't go looking for it.
Okay, that is great. And I love your answer. It wasn't. It wasn't special. We have a comedian here. Great. And then what about Daffy Diane? Who did you perform for? You didn't know I was going to be asking this one, did you?
No, I did birthday parties for children, and I had a puppet show at the end, and I got in a fight with a chicken, and feathers would go everywhere.
Maybe I'll have you on and you can do this again. That would
Maybe
be
not.
fun. Maybe not. Oh, great. Okay. I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
What prompted you to go into this business of consulting, advising, training, and coaching?
Well, Joyce, all my life, I wanted to be a teacher. And because I had had an abusive childhood, I thought I was too stupid to go to school. And so I didn't go to college until late in life. And, years back, you could become a corporate trainer with no education. It was like, poof, you're a trainer. And so I went into that field of training, and I enjoyed it very, very much. And it was better pay than a teacher. But educating people and helping them grow is really where I feel like I excel. And that's really what started the journey down the road. And eventually, like I said, I did go to college. Now I have a master's in industrial organizational psychology and have expanded my knowledge of behaviors and the way people think and communicate, and helping people understand one another to create a better culture in organizations is where I really operate from now.
Oh my God, we need that so badly. And I have to ask you, because many times I talk about mindset and doubting ourselves, because that has a lot to do with what I do. How in the world did you change your mindset as a little girl? And from what messages you may have told yourself, I'm not sure. But this always fascinates me, and you sure did change your mind. And now, as a result, you're transforming other people because of your experience. So how did you do it?
Right. When I was in my 30s, I had an epiphany one day. And I thought, life just shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't think about yourself like this. And as it turns out, I was right. You should not talk to yourself in a negative way. So if someone wants to change their mindset and change how they can go from getting out of their own way to success, they need to start with their self-talk. So because of the messages I had received, I had to reverse those conversations in my own head. And I would literally have to say stop out loud to make myself stop saying negative things about myself inside my head. So that is an excellent place for anyone to begin. It doesn't cost anything. It may take a while, but believe me, you can overcome that, and it's a good place to start. So that's what started me on the journey, and to the realization that really I did have something to bring to the world. And it really gives me great gratification. Don't tell anybody, but I would do this and not even get paid for it, coaching people.
I won't tell anybody, I promise. No, you didn't. Hey, dear audience, you didn't hear that, right?
Yeah, that's a secret.
But that's great. That's great. So and I don't want to call it simple because it sure wasn't simple. The thing is, though, you just said stop to yourself. You actually said stop. Okay, I'm going to copy that.
Okay, good. Yes.
I am definitely going to, because it's easy. It's so important. Thank you. So now that we have the mind shift and we know why you got into your organizational work, how are you able to change a company's culture? This is huge, Diane. Tell us.
It is. I like to start with the executive team. I work with assessments. You work with assessments as well. My assessments are like 72 pages long at the executive level. So what I do is I administer these assessments, and then I like to do an individual debrief, but then go in and do a group debrief so that the team understands each other. This is a basic understanding that they absolutely need to have, because once you understand somebody else that you may be having a conflict with, then the healing process can begin and you can start to better communicate with one another. I'll give you an example. I went into a company and there was a person who said, everybody here is a backstabber. Everybody here is out to get me. Well, he completely changed his mindset. And the entire team began working better together. There were several scenarios like that. So they began to understand each other better, where they were coming from. They began to understand how to work better together, and they eventually were able to meet their financial goals.
So how did you get this individual to change that mindset from everyone backstabs to your cultural change? I know you're a magician, but this is a hard thing to do. Not impossible, because you're the one that knows. What did you do?
Well, we went into coaching, and I helped him to see where other people were coming from, and that they really were not out to get him. They had their own agendas, but also I taught him, or I didn't teach him, he learned on his own through the questions I would ask, how to work better with other people and to have a better understanding of how they worked and what their behaviors were and how they like to communicate. So once he was able to adapt, not become somebody else, we're not talking about trying to be another who you're not. That's totally out of the question. Okay. You just adapt yourself to get through a conversation, to get through a project, so that you can work better together and get the job done. That way, the entire team becomes more productive.
So by you having the coaching sessions with this individual, and I love the way you said not to change him. And this is what people who don't understand coaching, that's not what you're about, and it's sure not what I'm about, but to get him to see how he can adapt with people who are not like him. And it's, again, I hate to use the word, it's not easy, but it's that first step that is. That first step, Diane, which you did with this client, you make me proud.
Yeah. Well, it's like people think executives, when they get to that level, they just have no issues, but that's not the case at all. I'll give you another example. There was an executive who was being taken advantage of by another executive on the same team. There was an individual who was having this woman do his work for him, some things that he should have been doing. And she was not strong enough to stand up to him and tell him, this is your work. You need to do this. Again, the assessment showed her where her strengths were and that she really did or should be proud of herself and her accomplishments and her talents and her skills. Little by little, she was able then, starting with small things, to help this other person be accountable for his own work. So in essence, we were helping two people, helping her get baggage off her desk from this other individual and helping the other individual be more accountable. And therefore he was more productive and a better employee.
Well, I've got to ask you this, because we've all been through this particular scenario. How did you have that the other individual who was also an executive leader change from not telling his or her other peer that, okay, you're not going to do my work for me anymore? How did you get that shift going?
Well, I did not coach the individual who was having the woman executive do his work.
Okay.
I just coached her. So she actually, through the coaching, developed her skills to be stronger, to stand up to him and learn to say no. That is one of the best time-saving tools you can have, to say no.
Could you please spell that for us? That is great. So by you working with with your coaching client, she learned how to say no, plus all the other stuff. Now I get 2 for the price of 1.
Exactly.
It changed him and her. Yay. I'm giving you yay, Diane Bogino. So I understand you have a few books. Finding Your Bootstraps, 11 Steps to Victim Thinking, Secrets of Writing a Winning Resume, How to Give Your Meetings a Swift Kick in the Agenda, There's Something Funny About Humor in Presentations, and you say it's not published yet, but Reaching Yes, Your Extraordinary Self. So which one would you like to talk about and to tell us about?
Well, actually, this Finding Your Bootstraps, 11 Steps to Overcoming Victim Thinking, is on Amazon. I think you can actually get it for free on Kindle. So if anybody wants this book, it's out there. Okay. This is really about my life and the things that I did to overcome victim thinking. And I actually have a course on taking back your personal power. So this is what happens when you don't have personal power, like the woman who is being taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. You lose your personal power and you become a victim. So you're thinking like a victim, and it just saps your energy, your resources. So there's something that you really need to take care of, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go on Amazon, whether I get the free copy or I have to pay. I don't care. I'm getting that one. Thank you. So Diane, first of all, before we go, and I really don't want to, you are a delight to interview.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And I will not, you can check all my interviews. I don't always say that. Where and how can people reach you?
They can go to my website, www.performstrat.com. They can call me at 404-320-7834. Or they can email me at diane@dianebogino.com.
That's great. And are there any last minute statement or thoughts that you would like to share with my wonderful readers? And they have been experiencing this interview as much as I have. So parting words, lady.
Self-assessment. You and I both work with assessments and helping people better understand themselves. And self-assessment is the foundation for leadership, strategic thinking, and EQ. So self-assessment is extremely important, and I would encourage anyone to start there. It can be a scary journey, as you and I both
Sure.
well know, but it's well worth the ticket.
Oh, thank you for that. And I do have one last question, so don't believe me when I say my last question. Will you please come back?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I'll go
Okay.
anywhere I'm invited for free.
Okay, we've got a lot of witnesses here. So I will definitely invite you back. And I want to thank you so much for this great interview. And I am going to go on Amazon immediately and get your Finding Your Bootstraps. So thank you for that too. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody looks for your interview as well.
Oh, absolutely they will, because you gave me an interview. I love that one. Thanks.
Bye.